care of by governance still going on through the assurance that there is a positive process of legislating, even if through an emergency, sort of state of emergency in the House of Assembly by the National Assembly. It is better for them to be able to make laws or oversee the issues of governance, which are those of the common good, rather than concentrate just on providing security for people who are truly, as my brother has said here, and that's I've said repeatedly, showing no concern for the people. Have you sat down to really look deep into all the claims and counterclaims? There has been no claim of Amechi is not governing well. There have been no claims of the presidency is not governing well. They have all been claims about I am not being well treated. I am being insulted. I is an ego thing. And that is not, I'm not concerned about that. Amechi is a young brother and a friend. The president is a friend of mine. But both of them, first of all, let's get one thing clear, very clear. As I said earlier, there have been no substantiated evidence that the presidency is directly involved in anything going wrong in the River State. In 2009 years, when Baramatu was being invaded by JTF, there were claims that Governor Amechi was behind it. But we stood up and said, you cannot substantiate those claims. Therefore, you must stop making those claims. In like manner, I have said to the governor himself, since you cannot substantiate the claims, don't point fingers. But more importantly, I found out that this is simply a breakdown of communications. Governor Amechi has not seen the president one-on-one in over 6 weeks. Either the president should summon him, or better still, Governor Amechi should go to the villa and see the president. Table his complaints and let us see the reaction of the president after that.
But apart from that, before we even get to that one, because that's a solution that some of the governors have proposed, the progressive governors who visited Governor Amechi not so long ago. But looking at the key issue of State Assembly being taken over by the National Assembly.
That is all part of what Governor Amechi has to go and see the president
but
about.
The president should not be having anything to do with the decision of the National Assembly anyway.
The president is not involved in the process.
Yes.
But as Patrick Honorable Obiagmas said here, the president remains the first citizen of the country. You lay complaints concerning what's happening under your sovereignty to him. You say, Mr. President, I am not comfortable with X in security, Y in the legislature, Z according to what is happening to my people. Let the president or the presidency react whichever which way. Then we know, we the people, will know for a certainty that the president has been approached, that he is doing or not doing what he's supposed to do. But at the moment, since there is no such bridge being built by either party, we truly cannot have conclusive positions as to how the presidency is reacting. Anyway, the president just 2 days ago had reassured the NBA that he is going to make sure, which I hope means he's going to summon the all governors and talk to them. He's going to make sure there's no more, there's less of the political excesses, and that 2015 should be shoved to where it is. This is just the beginning of 2013. There is a lot to be done to build bridges and mend fences, and somebody has to really take the bull by the horns.
But how constitutional is the decision of the National Assembly over this matter?
It is. It's constitutional. It's
to take over.
They have the right, yes, by the Constitution.
In what context?
Where it is seen that the House of Assembly is not functioning, and so the people of the state are not benefiting from what we call here the dividends of democracy.
Would you say the State Assembly isn't functional at the time they stepped in?
Yes, it's not functional. The last thing we heard, they were having boxing matches in the State Assembly. The State Assembly is set up for them to legislate laws and oversee the actions of the executive, not for them to go and wrestle and use maces to destroy one another's heads.
So you're saying the National Assembly took the right decision by taking over?
Yes, I think so. I believe so.
Let's ask Ugo, what's your own thought? Do you think the National Assembly wasn't in too much of a hurry to take over?
For me, I don't think they were in a hurry because, come to think of it, these are supposed to be lawmakers who became lawless. Because I'm not taking this to another level. I'm just wondering whether they on their own, if they search their conscience, whether they would think they have the moral conscience, you know what I mean, the moral authority to make laws when they are lawless. I'm not even bothering about the constitutionality of it or no constitutionality of it. I think the most pragmatic thing for anybody to have done at that point, because you have this faction of the House of Assembly, you have the other faction of, and take it from me, if these people sit, the other people will not be comfortable with it. If the other group sit, so the only thing to do is to make sure that, hey, enough of this nonsense. And come to think of it, what was happening in the House of Assembly was producing enough fuel. You know what I mean? It became major. I've never seen anybody club anybody down the way I watched that thing. And they are lawmakers. So for me, if you ask me, they should all be recalled. I'm telling you, they should all be recalled. What kind of law are they making?
They should be sacked from the office.
What I expect is for them to be honorable enough to say, I am not doing it again. Because it's very shameful. But since they are not reasonable enough to do it, whether it was constitutional or not, I think my kudos goes to the first of all House of Reps for starting that process, and the Senate, told that line. For me, that is, you're sure that to some extent, one sore point in Rivers State has been arrested, and I think that with that, you won't have those factions, having each other's truth.
So, Honorable Bahebo, your own thought on the National Assembly's decision?
Yes. Allow me briefly to answer the first question you asked to my comrade when you talked about what should be the role of the people. I will say that I want the civil society and the enlightened Nigerian public on this matter to habilitate themselves, with a spirit of recusancy, rather than tokenize themselves with a spirit of recumbency. That is because, in the words of one German Lutheran pastor, I think Reverend Martin Nelmoller now, it was quoted as saying that they came for the communists in the daytime. I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. And they came for the Jews in the daytime. I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. And they came for the trade union in the daytime. I still did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And they came for the Catholic in the daytime. I didn't speak out because I was a Protestant. And at the time they came for me, there was nobody again there to speak for me. So, you see, this must not be localized. Because like I said just now, it has a pestiferous tendency to snowball and cascade into a state of national roforofoism. And when we get there, nobody can predict what will happen. But back to your specific question on whether the National Assembly has the legal right to do what it did. And if they did, did they do it timelessly? I want to say I am in pari material, if you like, consensus at the end with my two brothers.